Joining me now on the phone from Dubai is Mustafa Alani, Director of Security and Terrorism Studies at the Gulf Research Centre. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Alani. I'd like to begin by asking you about Bahrain, if I may, and to ask you how great the threat is to the regime from the protests which we have seen up to now, which have been mainly peaceful.
Actually, the regime was under a serious threat. You have to remember, Bahrain is a very small country. It is a city-state, basically. And if the protesters attack government offices, sovereign institutions, I think the Bahrainian armed forces will not be able to deal with this sort of organized attack against all these institutions. So the situation was very serious and actually still carrying a high percentage of risk.
And in your assessment, are these protests backed by Iran, and to what extent is that true?
Iran is not visible, but definitely it is the elephant in the room. The question here is this sort of movement. It is not a national movement against the government. The population of Bahrain split almost 50-50 Shias and Sunnis. And the Shias political parties have long history linking themselves to Iran, even before 1970. So there is a long history of Iranian hand in Bahrain. And you have to remember, Iran was claiming Bahrain as a part of Iran until 1971. As a province of the Iranian state. So here, definitely, the Iranian will benefit from the situation in Bahrain. And if you monitor the media in Iran, the official media in Iran, basically mobilized to support the protesters inside Bahrain.
So Saudi and the UAE are in fact sending a message to Iran when they go into Bahrain to protect the Bahrain royal family and the regime there.
Actually, Bahrain is the front line for all the Gulf states. If they're going to lose Bahrain for the Iranian influence, as they lost Iraq already, I think this is going to be a major strategic problem going to be faced by this country. So the investment of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, and Qatar in defending Bahrain, it is basically a self-defense, because these countries feel that if Bahrain going to collapse, the security going to collapse under the pressure of the opposition and possibly the Iranian encouragement, they're going to lose the whole battle in the region.
I wanted to turn to Libya. We have heard reports from the UN ambassador to the Libyan ambassador to the UN saying that there would be genocide if Benghazi fell. At the moment, how much time pressure do you think there is on the UN to do something?
I think we have only 2 days, no more than 48 hours, maximum 3 days. Now the Gaddafi force is only 160 kilometers from Benghazi. And when you talk about Benghazi, it's the second largest city in Libya, and you're talking about almost 2 million inhabitants. So if the force is going to siege Benghazi or attack Benghazi, we're going to witness a humanitarian disaster, no doubt about it.
Now, what can be done? It looks as if we are running out of time, particularly if you say there are 48 hours left to get everything through the UN and get a no-fly zone in place. What's the best thing that we can hope for?
I think the no-flying zone has become an urgent matter now. And we tested no-flying zone in Iraq between 1991 and 2003 was very effective. In Bosnia in 1993 and 1995. So it was effective. But you have to remember, no-flying zone is a defensive concept, basically to prevent the other party plane to use the airspace and attack and use an attack of the rebels forces. But actually, it is no driving zone as well. The experience of Iraq and Bosnia proved that we start with no-flying zone, but we develop gradually to no-drive zone, which prevent the movement of the forces on the ground as well. So I think that the only way now to save the situation and to save the rebel forces is to impose the no-flying zone as soon as possible.
In practical terms, who is going to drive this? We've seen the resolution coming from Lebanon, but it doesn't appear that this resolution would be passed in time. Can you see a movement without a resolution?
I mean, we have two options, and actually, if we look at the history, if the UN is not going to move, if the Security Council is not going to approve the resolution, which I believe there's a good chance that the Chinese and the Russian are going to abstain.
Yes.
They are not going to use the veto. They are not going, at the same time, they are not going to support the resolution. But possibly they're going to abstain and let the resolution pass. The other option is what happened in Iraq between 1991 to 2003, which a group of states, we have United States, France, and UK, and Turkey at that time. They agreed between themselves and imposed the no-flying zone, and it was successful between 1991 and 2003. We're talking about 12 years was effective. So I think that if the United Nations and the Security Council will not be able to approve this resolution, immediately you're going to witness a move to establish some sort of no-flying zone system outside the UN approval.
Okay. Mr. Alani, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.